Okay, we're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs because they're just doing some crazy stuff today. So let's jump right into it. We have 3 trades by the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'm going to knock out 2 of these fairly quickly just because I want to crunch these in and try and get this video done as soon as possible. So let's start. So let's start off with the first. We're going to do these in easiest. So let's start with the Pierre Engvall. We'll start here. Luke Schenn. Let's start. Luke Schenn is now traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 2023 third round pick. Toronto's 2023 third round pick. So Luke Schenn actually, I believe, was originally drafted by the Toronto. Yeah, look at that. Originally drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2008. So he is made his way throughout the league. You can see he's in part of several trades and everything. I believe he's a Stanley Cup winner. Yeah, he's a Stanley Cup winner with the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe it was. Yeah. So let me see, 8 games. Yeah, so he played. Yeah, so he got his ring and everything right here. So went off and signed with the Vancouver Canucks, and you can see 17 points in 66 games, 21 points in 55 games. More of your veteran presence in this case. He's 33 years old, defenseman. If you can we'll jump over and see his contract real quick because it shouldn't be a big cap hit for Luke Schenn. You can see only $850,000, 2 years. Again, a little older veteran presence. But yeah, I think they're very happy with him. They're very excited. They're very familiar with him too. And I know a lot of people are a lot of the people that I listen to in the Toronto region they're pretty excited about it because Luke Schenn, he's played well. He's done well. And I think he'll bring, again, a good veteran presence, especially since they just moved on from Rasmus Sandin, who we'll get to in a minute. Although we're going to check out their lines. Their lines are going to be crazy right now. So let's jump over to the next trade real quick. So the Toronto Maple Leafs sending Pierre Engvall to the New York Islanders. So New York Islanders are picking up Pierre Engvall for a third round pick from the Islanders. So you essentially look at this. So essentially what happened by transitive property. I don't know if any math people over here. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, they get Luke Schenn, they trade out a third, they trade out a player, they get back a third. So essentially they traded Luke Schenn or Pierre Engvall for Luke Schenn. It looks like they actually saved money in the whole process too, which is wild. So that means they may have another move in their pocket, which would be sweet. Pierre Engvall, he was actually, they call him a giraffe. He is massive, 6'5", 214 pounds, Sweden. Again, another person drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs look at 7th round. What a phenomenal pick! That's a great thing to do is get those 7th round picks. You can see he is a UFA at the end of this year, so I think the Islanders are looking to use him. He is defensively smart. So let's go to Pierre Engvall. Let's check out his stats real quick. As you can see, last year had a phenomenal year, 78 games, 35 points. I know he's playing the third line too. He's on a little bit slower pace, 21 points in 58 games. Actually, it looks like they're on a similar goal pace, but the assists are not as flourishing there. So again, Pierre Engvall he's a little slow is the problem. But again, a big winger, and he also plays a little bit of center as well. I don't think that's listed in this thing. He shoots left wing. But again, young player. If the Islanders decide to sign him, great. This is more so their small rental move, and I think this is a good move for the Leafs. Again, because you're just moving on a player that isn't going to get as much time with all these big moves that they're doing with Lafferty and some of the people that they're stacked on their line. They have Aston Reese. I mean, there's a lot. Their bottom pairs or their bottom lines are not really needing as much work, which is okay. So let's run to the final and the big trade that is blowing up everyone's mind. Sorry to cough. Anyways, so Rasmus Sandin right here. You can see Rasmus Sandin traded for Eric Gustafsson in a 2023 first-round pick. It's Boston. So let's be honest, it's probably going to be like 29, 30, 31, or 32. It's a high draft pick. We know they're going far. Boston is going far. They're going to beat their wild card. They're probably going to end up beating Tampa or Toronto. But like I said, this is the crazy thing too. So I want to just before we get into the trade, like you can see, Toronto they move out Sandy and they pick up Gustafsson, save $600,000. They also move out Pierre Engvall. They save $2.25 million. Right, so that's $2.85 million they're saving. bring on the 850 from Luke Schenn. Now they just saved $2 million. So they sent out a draft pick. They got a draft pick back. So those cancel out, or the third rounds cancel each other out. They trade out the player essentially, and then they pick up another player and a first round pick, and they move out a defenseman, right? So it's crazy that they got one more player, and they lost 2 players, got back 2 players, and they saved $2 million, and they got a first. It's wild. I'm very impressed with what Kyle Dubas is doing right here. Very, very impressed. So I just want to jump over, just so you can see the announcements real quick. So you can see here is the Schenn for a 3rd round pick. Here is the Pierre Engvall. Oh, they don't have his picture. That's a bummer. They just said Islanders 3rd round pick. That's a bummer. At least send him a goodbye. All right, and then you can see here Eric Gustafson Bruins first round pick in 2023, and Washington gets Sandin. So let's jump over to Gustafson's. I have this up right here. So what are they trading away? Rasmus Sandin, a person who's on. He actually just signed a contract recently at the end of this year, 2 years, $1.4 million. Good. He ended up holding. He was one of those ones that held out until like the last minute and ended up just signing the deal that Kyle Dubas wanted. So which ended up being a bummer, but. Anyways, he gets his money and everything, which is good because look, you can see they're actually having to pay for Sandin to pay a little bit more, the 1.6, when his cap hit's only 1.4. So that is for Washington to take on, which is great. So again, Kyle Dubas saving money. You can see he ended up playing really well on the 3rd pair. He really earned his minutes, but there's just so much. There's a lot of depth, and really being that he was a 2018 draft pick, you can see right here, 29th overall. He's really hasn't panned out and really earned that top spot in the defense. But again, getting great points, 20 points in 52 games, which is very, very impressive. We go over to his card from JFresh. You can see young puck moving defenseman. Absolutely crushed. Again, like I said, 3rd pair minutes for the Leafs in the past 2 seasons. And like I said, just he does do well. Like I said, you can see he's got great offense, goals per 60, doing very well. Not great on the power play, no PK, but great at drawing penalties and great at finishing for a defenseman especially. So I think he's going to have a huge opportunity, especially in Washington, because Washington has 7 defensemen on the roster, and 6 of them are UFAs. So now they have 7 defensemen, and 5 are UFAs. So they have Sandin, who's going to be working with probably like I forget who, Carlson is probably going to be one of their guys he's working with. So let's move over to Eric Branson. The reason that the Toronto Maple Leafs pick him up, low cap it, and he is a veteran presence, 30 years old. You can see. And he is expired at the end of this year, which is very exciting. So that way that they can just go right into the next year and they can pick up whoever they need for the following year. So Branson, again, you're picking up a little bit older, veteran presence, a little bit of stability on there. And then we're actually going to jump over. We'll see his JFresh card as well. Again, look at on defense. You can see with the Capitals, 38 points, 61 games. Again, a defenseman, right? So you're a defenseman who they got back for cheaper, as probably your 6th, 7th defenseman. And again, he's producing. He's producing on Washington, who is potentially not going to make the playoffs. They decided to start to sell. So again, that is a huge pickup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's check out his JFresh card. So here we have it pulled up. You can see again, like I said, veteran offensive defenseman. Like randomly having a great year, and again playing second pair minutes, doing well. It's very strange. This is JFresh, very strange turn of events that he's doing so well. I'm glad he's doing well for the Toronto Maple Leafs or for the Washington Capitals, and so I hope he does well with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll see how well he does. Again, he's producing, and so that's what the point of these players, why they sign 1-year players, is the Washington was like, hey, maybe he'll do something. Maybe he'll help us in the playoffs. He didn't end up helping them get to the playoffs, but he is now uses Reynolds so they can utilize him and they can get the draft pick, right? Or they get Sandin back. They get a young player who is locked up for the rest of this year and next year, and is a RFA at the end of it too. So it works out well because they can start building the defense core, which we definitely know they need to. And Sandin, just because the Toronto Maple Leafs are trying to win now, while they have Marner, while they have Tavares in their prime, while they have Austin Matthews potentially going to Arizona, right? while they have them in their prime, they want good players that are going to be great now. And I think Sandin will be good, potentially great later, but just not right now because we need, kind of like what Tampa did with Janot. Tampa wants good players now. They don't want draft picks. They don't want to develop guys. They want good guys that are right now, that are while Kucherov's in the prime, Stamkos, Point, and all these guys. So Sandin just was taking too long to develop, and Toronto got impatient. So hey, move off, get your veteran. Get a pick back and everything, and let him flourish in Washington. I'm excited to see what he does in the Metro Division. So, like I said, I think this is gonna be a good move for him. So I'm excited. So go, hey, good for you, Sandin. Get your money or get your opportunity. And if you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Check that like. You can see it. It says it on the screen on the right. You can see it. You see it there. You see it there. It's right there. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Love you, and catch you later.